Andy Warhol, A Visual Riffing by Dillon Edwards. My name is Dillon Edwards. I am a digital media and professional communications major at Texas Tech University in the College of Media and Communication. I will be graduating August of 2020. Today I'll be doing a visual riffing essay over Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on August 6, 1928. Originally named Andrew Warhola, he contracted a rare disease at the age of 8 that affected his nervous system and made him bedridden for weeks. To help pass the time, Andy's mother got him his first art set, and Warhol was taken. Warhol later described this period as very important in the development of his personality, skill set, and preferences. After graduating from high school, his intentions were to study art education at the University of Pittsburgh in the hopes of becoming an art teacher. But his plans changed and he enrolled in the Carnegie Institute of Technology, now called Carnegie Mellon University. He studied commercial art there. During his time, he joined the campus Modern Dance Club and the Beaux Arts Club. During this time, he also was the art director of the student art magazine Cano, illustrating a cover in 1948, pictured here, and a full-page interior illustration in 1949, also pictured here. They are believed to be his first two completely published works. Warhol earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Pictorial Design in 1949, and later that year moved to New York City and began a career in magazine illustration and advertising. In 1950s, Warhol was commissioned to do work for Glamour magazine and Israel Miller, a notable shoe design. He eventually studied printmaking under the legendary Arthur Cohn. Cohn pictured here with his work. Cohn gave Warhol the tools to develop his blotted line technique, applying ink to paper and then blotting the ink while still wet, which was akin to a printmaking process on the most rudimentary scale. In 1960, Warhol turned his attention to the pop art movement, which began in Britain in the mid-1950s. Everyday life-inspired pop artists and their source material became mass-produced in products and commercial artifacts of daily life. In 1961, Warhol created his first pop art paintings, which are based on comics and ads. Warhol's 1961 Coca-Cola is a pivotal piece in his career, evidence that his transition from hand-painted works to silkscreen did not happen suddenly. In 1962, Warhol turned perhaps his most notable style, photographic silkscreen printing. This commercial process allowed him to easily reproduce the image that he reproduced the images that he appropriated from popular culture. Among Warhol's first photographic silkscreen works are his paintings of Marilyn Monroe from a production still from the 1953 film Niagara. In 1962, he began a large series of celebrity portraits featuring Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, and Elizabeth Taylor. Warhol made one of his most notable series, the Campbell Soup Cans, in 1962, and exhibited them the same year in his first solo pop art exhibit in the Ferris Gallery in Los Angeles in 1963. Warhol began his series of death and disaster paintings that used images from magazines and newspaper, as well as police and press images from magazines and newspapers and source material. Between 1963 and 1968, Warhol produced many movies including Empire, Sleep, and the Chelsea Girls. Life for the eccentric artist took a turn for the drastic when on June 3, 1968, Valerie Solanas, a writer who had appeared in Warhol's film I, a Man in 1967, came into the studio and shot him. Warhol was physically and emotionally scarred by the nearly fatal shooting. This event significantly altered his working practice from experimental collaborative approaches to a much more guarded one. The shooting damaged 8 organs and left scars across his stomach and torso. The incident and numerous surgeries that followed required that he wear a corset for the rest of his life. In the 1970s, Warhol continued to explore other forms of media. He published such books as The Philosophy of Andy Warhol, From A to B and Back Again, and Exposures. Warhol also experimented extensively with video art, producing more than 60 films during his career. Warhol also worked in sculpture and photography, and in the 1980s, he moved into television, hosting Andy Warhol's TV and Andy Warhol's 15 Minutes on TV. His two most notable works are perhaps Campbell's Soup and the Marilyn Monroe piece. When he first exhibited Campbell's Soup cans in 1962, the canvases were displayed together on shelves, like products in a grocery store. At the time, Campbell sold 32 varieties. Each one of Warhol's 32 canvases corresponds to a different flavor. Fun fact, the very first flavor the company produced, in 1897, was tomato. Though Campbell's Soup cans resembles a mass-produced printed advertisements by which Warhol was inspired, its canvases are hand-printed, and on the fleur-de-lis pattern ring, the fleur-de-lis pattern ringing each can's bottom edge, seen here, is hand-stamped. Warhol mimicked the repetition and uniformity of advertising by carefully reproducing the same image across each individual canvas. He varied only the label and on the front of each can, distinguishing them by their variety. Warhol said of Campbell's Soups, "I used to drink it. I used to have the same lunch every day for 20 years. I guess. The same thing over and over again." Moving on to the Golden Marilyn Monroe, the image that I have based my riff off of. Warhol made this painting shortly after legendary actress and sex symbol Marilyn Monroe committed suicide in August of 1962. It is one of her first photo silk-screened canvases and one of his earliest celebrity paintings. He hand-printed the large canvas in gold and then silk-screened Monroe's face, cropped from a publicity still from the film Niagara from 1953, at the center. With this updated version of the Byzantine icon, Warhol colonized and eulogized Monroe as a goddess of popular culture. Gold Marilyn Monroe was the star of Warhol's first exhibit of paintings in New York at the Stable Gallery in November of 1962. The show sold out, and Warhol achieved status in the art world, something he had desired for a long time. In comparison with the Gold Monroe, I have created the Gold Jennifer Lawrence. Now, the only differences between Warhol's and mine is I have not done this by hand. I decided to take a more modern approach using technology such as Microsoft Paint and Word document, pasting the image from the left onto a Word document and using the paint tools to edit the original picture into a spiff off of Warhol's Golden Marilyn Monroe. In my opinion, I definitely got close, but no cigar. Warhol definitely takes the cake in this one. In conclusion, actually I put them there side by side so you can see the differences between the two. Obviously, Monroe is on the left and Jennifer Lawrence is on the right. In conclusion, Warhol's enigmatic personal life has been the subject of much debate. He is widely believed to have been a gay man, and his art was often infused with homoerotic imagery and motifs. However, he claimed that he remained a virgin for his entire life. Warhol's life and work simultaneously satirized and celebrated materiality and celebrity. On the one hand, his paintings of distorted brand images and celebrity faces could be read as a critique of what he viewed as a culture obsessed with money and celebrity. On the other hand, Warhol's focus on consumer goods and pop culture icons, as well as his own taste for money and fame, suggests a life in celebration of the very aspects of American culture that his work criticized. Warhol spoke to this apparent contradiction between his life and work in his book, The Philosophy of Andy Warhol, writing that making money is art, and working is art, and good business is the best art. Warhol passed away on February 22, 1987, at the age of 58. This celebrity icon has not only changed the face of pop culture, but of art itself, to really question what is truly art and what is not. Thank you.